um, recording on Valentine's Day 2014. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and happy birthday, Muriel. So the question that I want to ask everybody is, what would you say to yourself to give yourself the love and support that you feel you deserve? And I'm going to start with you, Muriel, asking you, what would your question, what would the answer to that question be? What would you say to yourself?
So I will say to myself, self-care is the most important things, and that do some things that lift you up, make you happy, make you feel joyful. And for me, today, of course, it's my birthday. So for me today, I have planned to beauty up myself and getting my hair done and all that stuff, because that makes me feel happy, makes me feel great. I'm going to look good. I look good all the time, but I'm going to look better. And then I'm going to go out and enjoy a beautiful meal at a nice restaurant. So this is a self-care that is going to make me feel love to myself, appreciated to myself. And then of course I am going to Costa Rica on a mastermind retreat on Monday. So I am celebrating that way for a week long of beautiful connection and networking, as well as speaking and providing healing to the people who are going to be in that retreat.
I love that. That's wonderful. I would say to myself, you're doing well, keep going. Keep going. That's what I would say. I would just give myself some encouragement and say, just keep going. Anna, what would you say?
You're perfect just the way you are. You're always enough, and you're never too much.
Love that. Yeah, so that's your song, huh? Never too much, never too much.
I've been told most of my life either something's not, you're not enough, or you're too.
Right. Okay, I love that. Love that. Thank you. And Agne, what would you say?
Yeah, for me, it would be also the words of affirmation that you are loved, you are seen and heard, and just allow yourself to express in a, childlike state. Just be whole who you are inside. Open that heart and allow it to shine.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You are seen. I love that particularly, to be seen. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, it's special.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're coming up to 10 past. I'm going to send Paul a very quick message to see if he's coming, because I realized I didn't include him in my online message. Okay, and then Agne, if you wouldn't mind leaving us in just a few seconds. So I'm just going to say still coming to Paul, the question mark. Okay, so let's take a breath. Make sure our spine is straight. We're nice and relaxed, and that the energy is nice and flowing. Just letting out any cares, worries on the out breath. Just breathing in peace, breathing in love, and breathing out anything that no longer serves us. Agne, over to you.
Thank you. And today I want to kind of transfer the download that I received of sacred feminine and masculine energy balance from 12-dimensional space, and that is the pathway to birth the unconditional love in my experience. So it's a quantum healing process. I want you to notice what you notice internally, visuals, kinesthetics, sound, taste, smell, whatever comes up, just observe that. And as you tune in internally, close your eyes, relax, and allow yourself to experience the process. Just notice the position of your body. Notice your breathing. Thank your breathing for helping you relax gently. And just notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness the expression of sacred feminine and masculine energy balance. And for me, it came as a visual of a seed. So just notice that seed of sacred feminine and masculine balance element. And notice how it enters your system through your third eye chakra. This particular blueprint in the form of the seed is integrating through your chakra system. And it flows from your third eye towards your throat, clearing any resistances, allowing that self-expression. Notice how it moves towards your heart space, opening your heart, creating the pathway for the energy to flow through you. Notice how it moves towards your solar plexus, expanding that space. Notice how it continues to flow into your sacral chakra. And eventually it reaches the root chakra with the extension through your feet, anchoring that energy into the earth space. Notice how that seed is somehow planted at your base, at your core, and begins to sprout and sends its roots into the earth, grounding this powerful energy. And through those roots, the seed receives the nutrients, the elements, and everything that the physicality requires. And that seed begins to grow into a beautiful flower. And the flower is a good example for feminine and masculine energy balance. The flower is that beauty, the expression, the creative element. And the stem represents that masculine structure, safety. So just notice how this flower begins to grow through your chakras upwards. And notice how it continues to grow upwards through your roots, through your sacral, through your solar plexus. That flower begins to bloom and grow and expand through each of your chakras. It flows through your heart, through your throat, through your third eye, up to the crown. And this beautiful union of sacred masculine and feminine energy gives birth to unconditional love that is gently anchored in your higher heart chakra, the chakra between your throat and your heart. This is a portal for you to access the source energy, the unconditional love, compassion, the wisdom, and anything what that divine energy represents. That's right. Just notice how your higher heart chakra is gently opening up, expanding, and you're receiving that unconditional love in alignment with your being and with the source energy. That's right. That's right. Notice how this energy flow expands and integrates into your organs, your tissues, and every single cell of your body. Notice how it updates your chakra system, it updates your mind, your thinking patterns, your beliefs, it updates your emotions, clearing any resistance, any blockages that are in the way. And your being is making all the arrangements necessary for this powerful energy to continue to integrate into your system more deeply and thoroughly while you're sleeping and dreaming, and gently in the background as you go about your normal daily activities, to the best comfort of your physical body, your mind, your emotions, more noticeable for your conscious mind as you begin to think differently, feel differently, see and hear things differently. That's right. Just notice how your being is making all the arrangements necessary for this energy to continue to integrate. That's right. That's right. And when you're ready, only when you're fully ready, you can allow your eyes to open and feel fully relaxed, refreshed, and calm, and take as long as you need to integrate and process it. Take as long as you need. That's right. That's right. Very well. Very well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Just going to allow a few seconds of silence as we breathe. And Paul's just joined us after that meditation. Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm so sorry for being late. It's been a bit of a mental one today. I do apologise.
That's okay. So we just had a lovely meditation, Agne, and Muriel, whose birthday it is today, is going to speak next on the universal laws, and then it will be Anna, and then it will be your segment after that. Thank you for joining us, Paul. I asked a question that you weren't here for, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to answer this question as well. What would you say to yourself to give yourself some self-love?
So weird because it's a bit of a theme of this week. Has been me neglecting self-care. Oh, what would I give to myself for self-love? I think I would remind myself of all of the unique gifts and talents that I have and what it is that I bring to my clients and the customers in my shop. That would be the first one. But also just remind myself that actually it's okay to slow down and to take a breath and to pause and to not be always so busy or running off to do the next thing that actually, in fact, actually, as I say that, I'm reminded of someone by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he said years ago, he said, it is not the note that makes the music, but the space, the gap between the notes that makes the melody. That actually it's okay to slow down and pause, because I'm always like, next project, next thing, doing this. Actually, just pause. I did something for myself last night that I've not done in months, and I actually had a bath, like with candles and oils and, a glass of wine, because why not? And I was in there for like 2 hours, and I've not done that in such a long time. So yeah, pause.
That's beautiful. I felt so much love for you when you were talking. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Muriel, I'm excited to hear your segment about the universal laws. I'm intrigued. And
Well,
thank you for gracing us
first
as
of all,
well.
thank you so much for having me, and thank you for this beautiful meditation. It was definitely deep, and I was seeing green and everything else, so I appreciate that meditation. Just wanted to say thank you for offering it. So everybody on the planet pretty much have heard of the law of attraction and the secret, and a lot of people are saying, well, it does not work, it does not work, it does not work. Well, that's because they're missing components to the universal law. So the law of attraction is only one of the 12 universal laws that is open and available to every single individual on the planet, regardless where they are from, where they are born, or etc. So the 12 universal laws, the first one is actually called the law of divine oneness. So today I'm going to be speaking of the law of divine oneness. So that's a lot of big word, but what it means is that we are all connected. We are all interconnected. So when we do something, or when we think about something, whether it's positive or negative, not only is affecting our personal creation and personal reality, but it's also affecting on a larger scales. So it's a inner and outer reflection, as above, so below, as within, so without, as with the universe, so within the soul. And so this point of being one, people are going to say, well, it's not true. We have different background, we have different, skin color, religious belief, political view, whatever the reason might be, wealth. But on the essence, we are all coming from the divine spark, from the divine prime creator, whatever name we want to give to that prime creator. Some are calling it the Great Spirit, God, Allah. It doesn't matter, because at the end, we are all divine beings. And in this earthly body, we are forgetting quite often that we are divine beings. So when we reconnect with our own divine oneness, whether we're doing it by meditation, whether we're doing it through writing, through painting, through walking in nature, when we remember that and we calm our mind and focus only on our heart, we can let go of everything that is blocking us, that is negative. And when we do that, if we expand our heart, we can feel people from around the world. And there are some exercises that we can do that, such as transcendental meditation, and where we're all going to go into higher vibration, higher dimension, and where we are all going to feel the connection. Some people are going to feel it, some people are going to see it, and some people are going to hear it, and some are going to have all their senses at the same time coming online. And so when, as an individual, we do not pay attention to our thought or to our emotion, we're sending a certain type of vibration, and it's going to affect not only our reality, but everybody else around. So if people are saying, well, what I do here does not affect someone, let's say in Europe or in Australia or wherever, that is not true, because quantum physics has actually proven that if you take one atom in Europe and one atom in United States, and you do something to one atom, the one in United States will feel it, and vice versa. So if that is at the quantum level, then we need to, as a human species, as a human race, we need to try to be better at controlling our emotion and be more receptive into our own behavior, if that makes any sense. And so when we do this, we can slowly but surely bring peace to the world and create what we call the golden age or the golden earth, where everybody lives in peace and harmony. And that's the law of pretty much divine oneness. We are all divine beings. But do we act as divine being all the time? The answer is no, we definitely do not. And I don't know a single person on this planet that 24/7, 365 days for the next 100 years are practicing the law of divine oneness nonstop, because we all have our moment, and that's what part of being on this planet is about. We're learning, we're evolving. But it is very important to realize that our action, our thought, our emotion on the individual level affect our personal reality and our world reality. And at any given moment, we have a choice to decide if we want to have angry emotion or to be focusing on joyful emotion. We have the option to focus on sadness or on laughter. We have the option to focus on being in a victim mentality or being in a spiritual mentality. We all have choices, and we all can decide at any given time which direction we want to choose and what we want to present ourselves into the world. And so as for me, I try to always present myself as being authentic and true, and living with integrity and leading with integrity, in the hope that the people that are around me can feel that and be interacting in that manner toward me and also toward others. And if you have not done this experience, go anywhere into a store, just smile at somebody that you don't know, give a compliment to somebody that you don't know, and you're going to see the person literally change in front of your eyes. And that's the beauty of the divine oneness. We can affect others with our interaction and our thoughts and emotion. And that is pretty much all I have to say about that. In a nutshell, that first law of the law of divine oneness. Do you have any question or anything like that?
I have a question. Welcome, Nick, who's joined us. Hello. I lost connection during that. Was everybody still connected while I lost connection? Good. I'm so pleased about that. I missed some of what you said. Would you be able to encapsulate, like if you were going to write a sentence about the law of divine oneness, what would it be?
We are all one, we are all connected, and we are all divine beings.
Thank you. Okay, knowing that you are had a continuous stream, I can go back and watch the part that I missed to listen to what you said.
Correct.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions? Not at the moment. Okay. Well, if anybody has any questions, then I'm sure you can contact Muriel or post them in the chat. What is the next law for next time, Muriel?
So the next law is actually the law of vibration.
The law of vibration.
And that is one little key as well to the law of manifestation and the law of attraction. But every law all together can change a person's life. But if you do apply the law of oneness, the law of vibration, the law of attraction, and mind your thought at all time, you are going to see a magical change, miracle in your life. Your life will not be the same. Your life will be ascending to higher level on the dimension, higher.
Muriel, I look forward to the next law. If you can join us on the next session in 2 weeks, then
That'd be great.
I would love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your sharing. Before I ask Anna to lead her segment, I'm going to ask Gina to just say hello, first of all, and
hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here. I asked a question at the beginning, which was, if you were to give yourself a sentence of self-love, what would you say to yourself to give yourself more love? And everybody's answered that question, so I'd like to give you the opportunity to share that.
Thank you. What a lovely question for today, which we should celebrate every day. I'd probably say, if I wanted to, in regards to self-love, empower yourself, stand in your power. You are bloody amazing, even though you've been through so many traumas in your life. You're still grounded, you're unique and you're special, and abundance is your birthright. I think I'd say that.
Beautiful, love that. Okay, so just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm gonna just tell you the order of things. So we've heard from Muriel, and now Anna's gonna lead her segment for 10 minutes, and then Paul. Agne did a meditation at the beginning, a love meditation, which was beautiful. And after Paul, Gina will be your segment, and you can talk to us about your work. Thank you. So Anna, if you're happy to now do your segment, please go ahead.
Sure.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Agne Pavlakis, and I am a shamanic healer and a spiritual coach and a feng shui practitioner. And I also am the facilitator for the Lightworkers Collective, which is a group that meets every week. So Alexis and I were talking about what I should present tonight, and he suggested feng shui for love and relationships, because it's Valentine's Day, right? So I want to do that, but in a kind of a different way, because I know I've explored this in sacred segments in the past. So I wanted to explore it in a slightly different way, maybe a little more of a metaphysical way. So I don't know how much people know about feng shui, but in feng shui we work from the bagua, which is essentially a map. Okay, good. The bagua is a map of your home, and if one way of looking at it, to make it simple, is imagining a tic-tac-toe board. Okay, and so each of the squares is representing a different area of your life and a different area of your home or room. But here I want you to think of it in terms of your home. And if you were standing at your front door, okay, your front door looking into your house, your front door would be either the bottom left, the middle bottom, or the bottom right square. Okay, so in Black Sectantric Buddhism feng shui, which is the feng shui modality I practice, the bagua is always laid according to the front door, And the area of the home that is the love relationship section is the top right corner, okay? From wherever your front door is. So you can think about your home and where that's located, okay? Is that clear? Yeah, okay. But I want to talk about what that part means, because everybody's like, okay, love and relationships, but it's really so much more than that. In feng shui, each of the guas, the ba gua is each gua is one of the areas, right? Is represented by a trigram, okay, which is reflecting yin and yang. So each of the trigrams is composed of 3 lines. So this particular gua, the one that is focusing on love and relationships, is actually the most yin. If you were talking about the principle of yin and yang, the most yin area of the bagua, okay? And in the I Ching, the trigram for that area, right, it is represented by 3 lines, and in this one it's 3 broken lines, because the broken lines are yin and the straight lines, unbroken lines, are yang. So the most yang trigram is 3 straight unbroken lines, which is another gua. But this one, the one that's for love and relationships, is 3 broken lines on top of each other. Okay? So that is the trigram. And if you think of the qualities of yin, it's receptive. And if you think about those broken lines, right, they're open. They're the most open, the most receptive. It's the most yin gua of the home. And since it's the most yin, it's associated with the mother. Okay? So you might think, oh, love and relationships, my mother. And maybe it seems a little weird, but it is the quality of it. So if you think about it in terms of love and nourishment, nurturing, loving energy, that is the divine mother energy, right? That is what the mother energy is supposed to be. So if you think about it that way. So one way you can embrace this in your home is to make that area of your home and or your bedroom to reflect that, to be a nurturing, loving space. Okay? So that would mean very soft colors, soft pinks. If you like pink, you could have that in one way or another. It could be bedding, it could be paint, it could be like a beigey pink is very nice for that area, especially if it's a bedroom. You can have things like rose quartz, of course, and to have it in pairs, things in pairs. This is if you are wanting to attract or enrich or stabilize a relationship. Okay, so if you had 2 pink, rose quartz hearts, or another pink stone like a rhodochrosite or something like that, that would be a nice thing to have in that part of your home, or anything that's in pairs, like 2 candles. So anything that's in pairs is very good for fostering relationships. But what I'd like you to do for a moment, okay, is to close your eyes, okay? I want you to close your eyes. And imagine where in your home this gua is. And I want you to, in your mind, take yourself there. Go and stand at the threshold of this area of your home. And I'd like you to visualize these 3 yin lines of this trigram for this part of your home. And really visualize it maybe as a soft pink and imprinting its energy there in your home. And I invite you then to bring that into your heart. And if you like, you could even bring those 3 lines, that trigram, into your heart and connect your heart to that space. And send that part of your home your love and appreciation for its function in helping you have healthy, beautiful, loving, nourishing relationships. And you may see the form of a goddess in front of you. This is the goddess associated with that gua. And you can ask her for her assistance in delivering to you, bringing to you the relationships that would be most nourishing, loving, supportive, in whatever type of relationship you want. It doesn't have to be romantic. And to strengthen those that you have. If you're looking for love, you can petition her to help you bring you your ideal partner, your divine partner. And just take a moment and receive that love and give that love back. And thank her. Release the gua, the trigram, into the gua of your home. And maybe make a promise to honor it in some way today, tonight, tomorrow. Just do one little thing. Maybe put some flowers there. Make an offering. And just know that you've activated that part of your home and of your heart, because feng shui always starts with you. So happy Valentine's Day. That's it.
My apologies, I lost connection there for a moment.
Oh,
Just towards the end. Thank you, Anna. I heard you up to releasing the trigram. And then I lost,
yeah, that's good. Yeah, just release it in there and give gratitude and just know that you've activated it.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Something little different with feng shui.
great stuff. Thank you. Okay, so Paul, I'm going to ask you to lead your segment now on you were going to talk about a protection invocation.
Not quite.
Right?
Bridget's Sacred Flame.
Bridget's Sacred Flame. Wow. Okay.
Thank you. And Anna, that was lovely. Thank you ever so much for that. I really enjoyed that. And also, I love how I'm always surprised, and I probably shouldn't be, the level of synchronicity. So the first person, Muriel was the first person I had talking about the 12 spiritual laws. Tomorrow, I'm taking my my newest employee and my latest witchcraft student through the 7 Hermetic principles, which is very similar. So I kind of, like, I was listening, I was like, because as above, so below, as within, so without, the principle of correspondence. It's quite lovely. So thank you for that as well. And don't be alarmed by the color of my fingers. I dyed them accidentally. I was making a wand for someone earlier, and I've got myself covered in ink, glue, and clay. But anyway, so Bridget, goddess of healing, poetry, and smithing, which in a way is less the shaping of metal, but more alchemy. Obviously, Celtic Irish goddess. In some, obviously, I know that the Christians have taken her as their saint. I know that lots of New Age people have made her an ascended master. She is neither of those things. She is a goddess within the Celtic pagan tradition. And she carries, as you can see in this icon here, well, you can see that, this flame. And it's within the Celtic tradition, there aren't 4 elements like in many other traditions, or 5. There are only 3, as shown within the symbol of the Triskelion. I don't know how well you can see that, but it represents the land, the sea, and the sky. But in the center is Bridget's sacred eternal flame. It is the divine spark. It is the spirit. There is no 5th element. That is the spirit. Fire is the spirit. And it's the one that ignites all the other realms and all the other elements. But obviously, for a few times, obviously, Alexis has taken us through the violet flame. Well, this kind of, in a way, is the pagan equivalent of the violet flame. And I'm going to lead you for a meditation to connect with Bridget's sacred eternal flame. And this flame actually is a physical construct. It exists. So in Kildare, there are still 13 nuns that tend the eternal flame. It is still lit to this day, and it never goes out. And in times past, in tradition, and when obviously the land was pagan before Christians came, it was tended to by 13 priestesses. And when you understand the fact that our year used to be 13 moons, the 13 priestesses, each one represented a moon cycle. And obviously much of that's been, appropriated into the Celtic, Irish Celtic church. So I'm going to lead you through this meditation, where you'll go to Kildare, but when it was its ancient site. I imagine probably, yeah, there is probably a connection to the Vestal Virgins, to be fair. Much of the kind of pagan iconology, whether it's Celtic or whether it's Greek, whether it's Roman, there's so many similarities. Like all things, isn't there? Like, you see these pyramids being constructed in Egypt are very similar to these ones being constructed in South America. So somewhere along that kind of morphic resonance and connecting into that, as the First Lady said about oneness, obviously many of these iconologies exist simultaneously in different parts of the world. Anyway, so from an alchemical kind of understanding of transmutation, I'm going to lead you through this short meditation to Kildare. You could imagine it as an ancient site. If you want to see it as the nunnery that it is today, by all means, allow that image to come to your mind. That's totally acceptable. But if you want to see it as an ancient stone circle or even a sacred grove, allow that image to come to your mind. And I'm going to invite you to step into that flame and for it to transform and burn away anything that no longer serves you. So again, just close your eyes and begin by taking a few simple breaths, breathing into the still center of your being. And just allow your body to become soft and relaxed as you breathe into the still center of your being. And just allow your body to become soft and relaxed as you breathe into the still center of your being. And from the darkness of your mind, a mist begins to form. And through the mist, you can see the slight emission of a warm glow. almost like the flicker of a candle. And with a sense of curiosity, you decide to traverse the mist, walking through the mist, following the flame. And with each step, the flame becomes bigger and brighter. And the warmth envelops your skin. And eventually, you pass beyond the mist and find yourself in an ancient sacred site, or monastery or nunnery. And at the center sits a fire pit with a roaring fire. This is Bridget's sacred eternal flame, the spark of all creation, the spark of life, the element of transmutation and transformation. And stood beside it stands Bridget with her auburn hair, her eyes full of love and wisdom. And she invites you to step within the fire. And as you do, you feel its warmth, its roar, its ancient power course through all of your body, melting away blocks, melting away old emotions, transforming your base metal into pure divinity, transforming and transmutating all that no longer serves you into the watchful eyes of the most sacred and beautiful goddess of them all, Bridget. And as the fire burns, as so does it heal. And as you are healed, so you are transformed. Just allow that fire to burn, to purify, and to consecrate. And then you're ready. Step from the fire pit. Thank the goddess for her healing and her presence. Step back into the mist. Walking back through the mist as the glow and the warmth of the fire feel further and further away. And eventually the mist subsides, leaving once again the darkness of your mind. And from the darkness of your mind, your body. From your body, the room in which you are sat. When you're ready, take 3 breaths and open your eyes, connecting yourself back to this physical reality. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. As always.
Lovely to connect to that sacred energy of Bridget, which has always intrigued me. And thank you for shedding more light for me personally on understanding and connecting her energy. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So Gina, good to meet you.
You too.
Thank you. You have a page or a group rather called the Abundance Movement. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm the co-founder of the Abundance Movement, and our Facebook group is called abundance.cafe.
Amazing. Okay. Do you want to tell us just a little bit about that before you go on to do your?
Yeah. So first of all, it is wonderful to be within such wonderful people with such alignment with what we are we've created is wonderful. It's just lovely. So thank you. And I, you know, the gentleman that was before me, what was his name?
Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
Simon
I mean,
Bryant.
like, I'm sorry about
Okay.
the synchronicity, and you know, Muriel at the beginning with the oneness. It just totally aligns, and I mean, this is perfect because our mission, our very big mission, you know, we're on a mission to help build 3,000 net positive eco villages by 2030, and they're going to be built and owned by the community.
Well, I've got to tell you, as soon as I read that, I felt that you needed to connect also with Tracey, who's going to be coming on later. She runs an eco hotel in Egypt, in Luxor.
Wow.
And she has a 17-bedroom eco village.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I've actually been in talks with her this week about running a retreat there next year sometime in her space.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it's been a day of connections. Yeah,
It
please
certainly
continue.
is.
Yeah.
This is incredible. I mean, I believe and understand that you're also like a singer, songwriter
Yes, I
as
am.
well. So, I mean, I love to sing. I've had a very big passion since a very young age, but didn't allow it to flourish.
Amazing. I'm a singing teacher as well.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's really good to hear. So it's just, there's a lot of synchronicities happening. And, you know, I think it's not, you know, there's a reason why it
Oh, for
has.
sure. Intrigued to find out more about the Abundance Cafe. I'm sure that as time unfolds, you know, all of our communities are joining together and we're becoming one
Yeah,
great big community. We already are one, right? So we just
yeah, absolutely.
I believe you're going to talk to us about the true meaning of love.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to kind of start off with a little story. So in regards to love and actually feeling the pure energy of love, because I think, you know, I think it's all very, you know, one layer when we think about love, and I think the societal expectations. So about 3 years ago, my co-founder, Nick, and he's also the visionary behind the abundance movement, and he's my partner in life as well. He had COVID and was in ICU for 3 weeks. So I also had COVID. It was a very terrible time. I couldn't really go and see him. I was stuck here, and it was a very difficult time. Because it was very touch and go. And so, yeah, he was on a ventilator and everything, and he did pull through. But the doctor said he was a miracle because they couldn't believe that he survived after, because all his lungs were completely black. They said they just can't believe how he survived. But I think through the energy of meditation and manifestation and that visualization of truly believing in the oneness of us together, because I know that he was visualizing a lot, and that's where he actually came up with the vision of the abundance movement. So within that power of manifesting, because I was at home, I was doing a lot of meditation, I think that kind of created the universe to kind of say, you need to go and do something more, help others, bring community back together. And I think it's that love, true love within the energetic field of who we are and who we are authentically, that created this kind of golden path for us. You know, we couldn't quite believe, you know, the doctors were absolutely amazed. They were like, I can't believe you're here, basically, and called him a miracle. But, you know, love for me has always been, well, not has always, it's been from a very young age. I kind of despised my body, I despised the way I looked. I never gave myself the opportunity to flourish in a way that felt true to myself and authentic. It was only until I discovered many years ago now about, you know, energy, and that is where for me the true love and the power of true love lies, because kind of feeling that power within you and that within your body as well. And I've always been the black sheep of the family as well, and I step into my power for that, because I don't align with the things that we are, you know, necessarily hierarchical, or, you know, I'm a rebel. And I will always allow myself to think of things from a different perspective, and to think of things that, why should we be doing things in that certain way? Why do we have to conform? And I think energetically that has come through me, through the higher self as well. And it's just something that I am blessed to be with you guys here tonight. There's definitely connection, there's definitely alignment, and yeah, I can definitely feel the love here. So I just want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate the time to be here today.
Pleasure to have you here. Thank you. And I mentioned before Tracey joined us, hello Tracey, welcome, that there's a connection there because you mentioned Eco Village.
Yes.
And just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so our big vision here is to build 3,000 eco villages, net positive, all kind of built and governed by the community. And we are also co-partnering, we are co-partnered with one of the top 10 CEOs of the world, of the globe. He's co-partnered with us, which is fantastic. But it's revolutionizing the way that we come together as one and as a community. And, you know, I think it's going to just help people to realize the potential within themselves and to become together as one, because I do believe, well, we do believe as well, that community is the way forward for us to flourish as in humanity. So that's, you know, I'd love to hear more about, you know, Tracey and what she's currently doing. That'd be amazing.
Well, there will be opportunity for sure. And yeah, as I said, it's been a day of connections. At 10 past, I'm going to hand over to Tracey in 6 minutes. Maybe 4, because I'm gonna ask you a question, Tracey, in a moment as well. I want to also welcome David, who's joined us. Hello, good to see you. Your presence here is timely, of course. And yeah, I just wanted to mention something about a transmission that was channeled through Sir George King, who was the founder of the Aetherius Society, for which I was a member of for many years. And it's called the One Energy. You know, we talked a moment ago, Gina, about oneness. And you know, how we are all, of course, one. We don't always necessarily recognize that. And Muriel graced us with her law of divine oneness, one of the 12 universal laws, and she spoke on that, on that consciousness being integrated into our lives 24/7, and how we're not there. And that's ultimately the aim, is to integrate that divine oneness and that consciousness into our being all of the time. You know, we're not there, but we are working on it, right? We're here and we're moving forward. This transmission called the One Energy, I'm not going to read you the actual transmission, but I just want to tell you about it. It's an hour and 12-minute lecture, which includes the transmission. And in the lecture, Dr. King explores some of the deeper meanings of the One Energy transmission, which is one of the greatest transmissions ever given to Earth, no less a being, but by a being that is the Lord of Saturn. And for some reason, before Sacred Segments started this evening, I attuned to the energy of the Archangel Cassiel. And the Archangel Cassiel is said to be the angel of Saturn. So there seems to be a connection with Saturnian energy, and there is speak of the perfects of Saturn. And they exist as these 9-foot huge beings. But in this recording, which you can listen to for free if you sign up to the Aetherius Cloud. Aetherius is spelled Aetherius. He is a Venusian master that exists in the etheric, that spoke through the mediumship of His Eminence Sir George King. And in this recording, Dr. King calls it an all-inclusive message, and one of those rare ultimate pieces of wisdom which are only occasionally ever given to mankind from any source. And it's a treasure chest of enlightenment that will keep on giving throughout this life and beyond. So if you sign up to this Aetherius Cloud, you can listen to a lecture for free. There are many to choose from, but the One Energy transmission is something that just came up that I wanted to share with you. Gina, thank you so much. I'm sure that there will be more unfolding as time goes on about our connection, and we're all here for a reason. The question that I want to ask Tracey and also David is this. At the beginning, we talked about self-love. What would you say to yourself in a sentence to give yourself a piece of self-love? What would that say? What would you say? I'm going to ask you first, Tracey, and then David, and then I'm going to hand over to you, Tracey.
I think it combines. Excuse me.
Of course.
It combines exactly what you said: spirit, or extraordinary spirit communion, and Gina community. And in terms of our extraordinary spiritual experience, it's on and of course off planet. It needs to be both, so that we become these extraordinary universal beings that transcend any understanding of love that is imprisoned in the matrix as it is now.
Beautiful, beautiful.
For me, as a gatekeeper, community brings as much extraordinary insight as does interplanetary communication. That too is extraordinary within the context of pathway. But there must be that perfect divine timing of community, so that all parts of ourselves can be awakened and activated and healed in an alchemy that is just miraculous. And that really is what Gina was speaking about. I'm so pleased I caught the end of your communication, because it was just extraordinary. And this is the real spiritual experience. This is it. And it is turning everything that conventional spirituality is not, and it's grassroots. And we've seen this grassroots spirituality, which is so deeply connected to the central sun and the 26,000-year prophecies and all of that stuff. But it's in the grassroots community that you're seeing an uprising in terms of consciousness, an absolute no as regards to inequality on earth. So we saw it in the protests in terms of Palestine and peace. And I think peace activism is extraordinary at this time. So community is everything, and we should be endeavoring to explore so many new dreams of what existence is. And that, of course, is all seeded and written in the prophecies and in the texts that were written for these future times. It's one of my specialities. I love what is to come.
So if you were gonna give us one sentence, Tracey, if you were to hold up a mirror and you were alone, and you said one sentence.
It's the return of the goddess.
Lovely.
You just gave me it. If you were to hold up a mirror, it is Hathor's mirror itself.
Divine.
So when the return of the goddess is into place, that's when evil on earth can be unveiled and tackled and transformed. And so we have to be so strong in our commitment and non-compliant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you in just a second. David, I want to ask you the same question. If you were to hold up a mirror to give yourself the love and the support that you needed to fulfill your mission, and it was in one sentence, what would you say?
That's tough to follow. I would say immediately, thoughtlessly, it's truthfully accepting all the aspects of myself that I observe as not myself. Because knowing that it's all one and that we're what I perceive to be in currently a great healing phase. For me, it would be bringing everything back that is unloved or unwanted or unheard, unspoken, being completely vulnerable and honest within about everything. Because it's only when you see everything and take full responsibility for it that it can be reintegrated or processed or healed or made whole.
Really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Very humble. I felt the vulnerability and the honesty and the, just the raw nakedness of what you said. It was beautiful. Okay. Well, I'd like to give Tracey the opportunity to talk now about her role as a gatekeeper. And I'd like to understand more about what that is. So could you talk to us about that, please, Tracey?
Yes.
Thank you.
So my work as a gatekeeper lands me back on ancient sites that I was a custodian of in ancient times. I have full past life memories of my incarnations and who I am. The work that I do as a gatekeeper involves gatekeeping time, gatekeeping contact, cycles of time also. And that work is particularly protected by the goddess. Now, the work that I do is not mainstream. It doesn't have the same incomplete associations or attachments with it. So today I was a gatekeeper for a client who was seeking transformation. I think there's so much confusion, hijacking. There's definitively two timelines. One, the archaic, outdated, the control systems, all the stuff that has prevented you, David, from being a complete human being. And so being a gatekeeper is about being a gatekeeper of community. It's about being a gatekeeper of absolutely ancient sacred sites that contain the creation story. So I'm gatekeeper of the east gate of the Medina Habu. Behind it is the oldest ancient site in Luxor that contains the temple of Amun and the sacred lake, which contains the pre-ancient, the pre-Diluvian ancient waters knowledge. Hathor is an extremely interesting goddess. When we transcend her mainstream concept, we are looking at the gatekeeper who travels the soul to Osiris himself, to eternity itself. With Hathor, there is a deep, deep strength, vulnerability, and yet power that will wreak havoc if sacred law is not obeyed. So when she holds the mirror, I hold the mirror. And when we hold the mirror, particularly in the two timelines, those in community that stand in sacred knowledge, sacred humanity, in all that is sacred across the field of intelligence in the universe. We are standing in a power and resource that transcends capitalism, that transcends every system that is a dysfunction, to healing and to whole and complete individuals and communities on earth. So everything that I stand for as a gatekeeper brings in a psychology that transcends even the grandfathers of psychology itself, transcends Freud, transcends young Y, because so much of the goddess was dismissed. So much of the goddess has been dismissed in modern spirituality. So we've strategized what healing is. And without the goddess, there is no force of magic. And it's that magic which I'm a gatekeeper of in terms of mysticism and magic and time that transcends every impossibility at every dimension of our lives. And it's in gatekeeping those initiations that I assist humanity not only to become whole again, but to enter a whole field resource, so that when we are disabled by the matrix, when we are hijacked, when we are under high pressure as regards to the contamination of control, then we can transcend everything that we are targeted by the matrix and the control systems themselves. So the gatekeeper will work and field at every dimension, and will field and protect the sacred sites, which are also under threat from mainstream spirituality trends and strategies that endanger the purity of the sacred site and the purity of the wisdom. Now, this is exactly how the matrix controls that timeline for us. So I have a massive amount of intelligence and assistance in terms of a field of intelligence that is just extraordinary.
A lot of people don't understand because you're operating at a different level. So
I operate in a very complex way. And as we speak about unity, we're speaking about a unified field of consciousness that where it can and where it will penetrate and it will operate on a biological level, a DNA level, a psychological level, an emotional intelligence level, an intellectual level. And then within the context of that, you're also up-leveling the scale and the reach of your own consciousness within the context of the eternal field of wisdom. Something that's quite interesting within the context of my capabilities as a gatekeeper. I can materialize time, and I can materialize contact so that it materializes very, very close in this timeline. So as, for example, we travel as a community in terms of activations, healings, awakenings, community love, community trust, and providing all of those parameters in which we can indeed, as David said, be vulnerable and take the opportunity to explore the meaning of our existence with other human beings on the planet, but at the same time, to understand as a gatekeeper that we are also protecting a field of wisdom that serves humanity on earth. Now, as a gatekeeper, where I can materialize contact, this is a hyper speed, miraculous reset awakening. So the kind that Gina was speaking about within the context of COVID. So COVID gave us that opportunity to go into a very deep silence. That's the goddess. You had at the same time with COVID, the reverse in the timeline. This is when we were going to head into hyper speed within the context of really synchronizing with those in our community and generating. It's that flow between people and that connection between people that is being lost through, for example, the internet, social media, spiritual teaching, for example, a lack of real contact, a lack of real connection with spirit. So yes, I work on many different dimensions But that is the nature of what the new spirituality is. And it always has been, because when we're looking at oneness, we're looking at being able to understand what oneness is and also master it. And that is the only way that we come to beat the matrix, because we need to be tapping into such a massive resource, not only of intelligence, our own, but also a resource that is going to protect us no matter what. And that means that our lives are completely and utterly protected by sacred law. We are sovereign human beings, but we have to be biologically, genetically, emotionally, psychologically in sacred law and in complete and full understanding of it. Why? Because then we can claim the planet as our own and our planet as sovereign. And as soon as we do that, there can be no matrix law and no gateways that are associated with the negative forces of the matrix and the darkness of the matrix. We claim sovereign earth for ourselves.
I'm aware of time, and I know you said you could manifest time. And that's actually my question.
Yes.
About manifesting time. You know how there is a thought of that time does not exist outside of the earth. My question about manifesting time, and I urge you all to formulate your question in the next 5 minutes. Could we keep it brief?
Okay. I mean, time is such an interesting question. It's so Egyptian, by the way.
Right, right.
The Egyptians were gatekeepers and masters of time, by the way. And they were capable of mapping time. So the Dendera zodiac is like a masterpiece as regards to the star mapping and the cycles of time.
So my question is, how do you manifest time? I've done this. I've seen it working in my own life.
Yes.
How do you do it?
By remaining sovereign.
Okay.
I mean, something that's very core to my teachings are ethics. We can't become metaphysical geniuses if we don't understand human values. So again, we remove that social dissidence that contaminates our sovereignty and our sacred paths. And it's only when we begin to really understand truly what we are here for, beyond any matrix attachment that denies us that sovereignty, that oneness, that freedom, that light. Only then, and I think this is interesting, the ancient Egyptians had entourages of high priests. The pharaohs, the queens themselves were also trained as high priests, high priestesses. You're having an entourage and an individual whose whole life is analyzed and addressed by the 7 Hathors who are present at the birth of a soul. The 7 Hathors oversee fate and destiny. When we understand our fate and our destiny, then we control time. Then we transcend time by working on ourselves. So that's, in a sense, why certain individuals are born with their memories intact because they've done the work in previous lives. There's
I would
no
like-
entitlement. There's no
Sorry.
spiritual entitlement. I mean,
Sorry to
you
interrupt.
can't just do it. You know this.
I need to give other people an opportunity to
Mhm.
ask you a question, and I just want to give everyone the opportunity that may have a burning question for you to ask you something. So is there anybody that really wants to ask Tracey something? Is there something that you want to ask her? Okay, there's two hands I saw.
Is it David? And I can't see who else.
It was Agne. Go ahead.
And I've got my tiny phone, and it's not my favorite thing. I want to see your
Okay.
faces.
Agne, you were first. Like, go ahead.
Okay.
I want to understand what is Stargate and how it works. Is it something that is created? Is it something that is always present? Is there any change that's
I
happening?
think it's going to be a big subject. Keep it brief, please. Go ahead.
Thank you for being a masterful overseer. As we know, largely the UNESCO sites of ancient Egypt and other chakras, vortexes, gateways across the planet are natural stargates. When it really starts to get interesting is when it's combined with an ancient civilization's ability to build the power of the stargate for time. So I kept it brief.
I on the next time that we meet, I would like to question you about Stargates and have you just talk about Stargates and what it is at length, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
Thank you for keeping
Yes,
it.
of course.
I appreciate that. Okay, go ahead, David.
Thank you so much, Alexis, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here and giving me the moment to ask this question. I would fully agree with you that I would be in stitches to hear everything about the Stargates. Like I think so many of us want to know, and feel called to. My question is, and it kind of was triggered as well with the mentioning of, like, for example, John Velo Melchizedek, who I'm a student of, came in with past life memories intact, and that's such a rare occurrence. I don't personally have that myself, but I've often wondered. My question is in regards to the teachings of the Merkaba,
Yes.
the vehicle of light, and
okay. I've got a question to ask you. In Dromvelo's Flower of Life, his manual, his book, he is not in balance with the divine feminine. So I wouldn't expect you to be able to have full past life memories, because without the knowledge of Egypt intact, as in the gatekeeper and the gatekeeping of the goddess, is essential for you to travel through your own subconscious, the primordial waters. So whereas Dromvelo's work is helpful, it's very masculine in its strategy, and it's not magical. So today I was working with a gateway initiation in terms of traveling through the subconscious. And the same for Freud, the same for Jung. They dismissed the presence of the goddess as the protectress, as the great mother, of all creation, of all memory, of all timelines. Primordial waters is from where Ra is birthed. So Drumflow's work was largely, as I understood, it was plagiarized. And I also find some things as problematic, largely because these people did not spend enough time in Egypt to be able to understand the science properly. So you do have past life memories, David, but you need to have a gatekeeper who is a gatekeeper of the goddess. So you can travel those subconscious memories in your timelines. So you can discover the themes of your past lives and future lives, this planet and off planet, so that you can become whole again. I find it very interesting when I think the last 20 years or so has been deeply problematic because of the nature of study via the internet, etc. But the quality of spiritual work comes from, it has to come through initiation. It has to come from the human experience of spirit through gate and timekeepers. And you will travel as far as your teacher. And that is the truth. This is why we also need these kind of forums in community to speak the truth and for the truth to be acknowledged, evaluated, for us to enter into a course of discussion where it isn't a violation of one's ego or one's massive attachment, because Drumflow's work is like so whatever. I mean, I think sometimes there is rare information, and then once it hits the mainstream, it becomes problematic. And so the community, if it is not ethical, is then responsible for the dilution of something that was potent in the beginning. And again, I think, and this is what I've heard within the context of the community, he's lost his power. And I believe that when our connection is not held with the highest integrity and the highest level of ethics, then we lose that primary genius connection. It's like what Gina was speaking about with community and this dream of community. And that dream of community must be upheld in order for the dream to be materialized by each and every individual's. There needs to be a cohesion within the context of human values. So when we switch on in terms of our awakening, we should have spontaneous past life memories, future life memories. We should have that sense of oneness, because that is not only the inspiration, but it's the motivation to maintain an ethical, spiritual, evolutionary pathway that is not contained by the ego or not contained by experiences that then become mechanical, dull, boring, all of those things that are likely to take us back into the matrix. So I just wanted to share with you in Egypt, if you know anything about the Amduat and the 12 hours, when the soul travels through the 12 hours of darkness, when the soul travels on the solar boat, every goddess goes live. So the force of magic is what the soul travels on with. And this is where we experience the miracles of healing. And for sure, we remember definitely who we are.
I have a question for you, but I want David's question to be fully, answered, and for him to be satisfied. And we're limited on time. So, David,
the Merkaba.
go ahead.
If it doesn't, I mean, I think I answered the question. If the goddess isn't present, then the Merkaba isn't being activated correctly.
Mm.
Yeah, I was just going to speak to you in Arabic. I mean, yeah, we have to get to that place where our heart intelligence is being activated in the timelines, in the memories, in the cohesion. And I believe that our communities, particularly in the West, we have become, and I say this again, we've become strategists. And Egypt is all about magic and mysticism.
Mm-hmm.
So the goddess provides these wings so that we can fly and move and time travel and experience the blessing of a far more infinite field of experience, spirit, and intelligence that always transforms us, heals us, and evolves us, and gives us the strength, Gina, to build those dreams and say no to the matrix. This is why I do spiritual work. I don't want to move into spiritual work because it's an interest point, or I'm a consumer of it, because that's then spirituality set in capitalism. I want to transcend the capitalist shadow agenda, and I want to experience the internal magic and then up-level it so that those I meet can stand on those wings with me and we can start to fly. I mean, last week we were literally at the Sphinx. We had dinner and we came out and I heard like 25 of my clients screaming in the street because we had contact and it was incredible. And in those experiences, when the gateway is opened collectively for all to experience, that's the Merkaba, that's the Stargate being activated, that's humanity hitting a tipping point that changes the laws of reality that we exist in. And that, my friend, is everything that Drumvelo's work is not.
So
when I go to, for example, Abydos, I love Seti, and I call her, and she walks, her spirit walks with me as I walk through Abydos. There are secrets here that can only be revealed if you spend the time here.
Yeah.
We're already over time, but we'll go a little bit more. And I want to give other people. I want to give Gina and Anna an opportunity to ask a
I
question.
want to give you all massive hugs as well.
Likewise. David, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Nothing that wouldn't take considerable time, and I'm so grateful for for everyone here and for the opportunity to become more enlightened in our hearts, and to have the beautiful expression that Tracey is holding for us to all benefit from and glean from. So much gratitude. Thank you so much.
You know what I think is happening, David, is our spiritual community is also locked into two timelines. And the fraternity and the monopoly, the corporation spirituality, all of that has to be cleaned out. So we go back to the fundamental foundations of what spirituality is. And that is found in the blessings of the early pioneers like Blavatsky, like Alice Bailey. They were my teachers. I was trained at the College of Psychic Studies by some of the finest mediums and healers of last century. Not one of them ever social marketed themselves, because we were built on our reputations and we were built on word of mouth, and that's how our work and our service materialized more thoroughly.
Gina, do you have a question for Tracey?
I don't have a question. The reason why I don't have a question is because, in some sense, Tracey, when you were talking, I felt like I knew it. I had a real goosebumps and a real energy surge in my body when you were talking. There must be some form of connection. I've no idea, because my mother was born in Egypt, and my father is Italian, and my mother is also half Greek, half Maltese. So I don't necessarily have a question, but I just want to say how extraordinary it was to listen to you and to really feel your passion and energy. Was absolutely amazing.
And yours too. Thank you, all of you. Yeah. I mean, I think, going back to what David was speaking about, when we commune and communicate in these ways, we're healing the parts of ourselves that are challenging to heal when we're struggling alone, or we're struggling in crisis, or we're struggling when we're being hijacked, or we're being controlled by technology or systems or the elite. So this coming together in a truly authentic way is like gold. You can't put a price on it.
Gina, I want to tell you that I was also hospitalized by COVID, and I had a near-death experience. And it was spirituality that brought me back, and I was almost gone, and I knew that I had to breathe to come through. I'm going to talk more about it another time. But yes. And Anna, do you have a question for Tracey? By the way, I didn't believe that COVID was real, and I was put in the hospital by it. Go ahead, Anna.
Not really a question. Just sort of a comment, or I don't know, thought. Because as you were talking, I was thinking a lot about, well, it confirmed a lot of what I felt before about certain spiritual teachers who are coming from a very masculine perspective, right? And my
Yeah.
former teacher, this was back in New York, who had a major connection to Egypt, was coming from a very pharaoh, energy. So it was very much this energy of that masculine with it. Not, I don't know if I want to say denial of the goddess, but not enough of that, even though it was quite magical, not enough of that honoring of the goddess. And there was that kind of just a very masculine energy, which which you need, but I think it went too much in that direction. Yeah, so I resonated with what you were saying about that very much.
In Egypt, you can't have one without the other.
And
with interest in Egypt, there's so much false information. And the ego was never the intention of ancient Egypt, because the temples are known as temples of millions of years. And those temples are governed by the law of Mat. Your heart and your soul must be pure first. And that's one of the primary initiations. But I completely agree with you on the whole. There is a fraternity that is dominating incomplete information on ancient Egypt. You're not the first person to have this comment with me today. I spoke with a medical doctor who's working with her cancer project, and she said to me today, "What is Egypt about?" I said, "It's about love." Fundamentally, we cannot enter into any kind of metaphysics, advanced spirituality, the service. That was such a fundamental part of Blavatsky's unveiling Isis. I mean,
7 minutes, and I want to ask you a question that's selfish.
What's your question?
Okay, so my question is about karma and timelines.
Yes.
And I feel that I have absorbed my grandfather's karma, because I'm named after him, right? And I carry a lot of excess weight in my physical body, and I want to know, is there a way? Well, I'm sure there is, because I've always felt this to be true. Is there a way that I can transmute the karma of my grandfather and shed the weight?
Yeah, I would apply several different approaches with you. I know you're going to come to Egypt to spend some time with me. And then I would engage in a Stargate to really analyze your timelines. Because what I do as a gatekeeper is I travel your timelines, because I'm an axle, which means I don't need to reincarnate, but I incarnate to assist humanity, particularly as in times like now, the 26,000 year cycle. So I would be extremely happy to assist you in terms of traveling your timelines, communicating as a medium to communicate with your grandfather to also recalibrate his timeline, and then to look at an up-leveling within the context of your own sovereignty and your own soul and your own mission, and really aiding you within the context of materializing your own sovereign timeline, that's when you really start to see massive changes within the context of your karma. And I think this is kind of interesting because that's when I would then use my mirror of Hathor. So the patterns that you repeat, which maintain a particular cycle of reality, then we would start to have those conversations to transform the projection so that we could change the story.
Yeah, beautiful.
And complete the story. And I think that's what's incredible about ancient Egypt, because they were capable of not only keeping time, but completing cycles of evolution to progress evolution. So the temples are technologies of the future, and they were built for us, for now, to save humanity, to give us the answers, to transform these cycles of karma that are now fundamentally ready to be released as we begin a new 26,000-year cycle. For that, you definitely need a gatekeeper.
Thank you.
Because in order to navigate it, particularly at this time, you're negotiating so many frequency fences in technology and social programming. I mean, it's a minefield. So during COVID, I traveled out to Egypt to create and build 2 projects, and we're building our 3rd this year, and these buildings provide the Stargate structure so that the timelines can be checked and cleared. Sovereignty can then be initiated, and then the goddess reemerges as a primary force of our own creation, and our own force of creation, which clears the karma. So in temples, we see so many offerings, but in the next cycle, we see the blessings of the gods and the service of the gods to those who choose a sacred and sovereign timeline. And that is how you recalibrate the karma and the misaligned timing of this incarnation. So that's what really keeping time is, and that's what a gatekeeper will ultimately commit to. So you're solving, I mean, this is something that I find very interesting as a healer, as a channel. I don't even like those labels, to be fair. Every session is bespoke.
Yeah.
Every session, something unique happens because it's not a strategy. So in terms of what happens for you, everything can happen as long as you say yes to it.
Well, I want to offer gratitude to everybody that's here, and to the Mother Earth, and to to all things. Yeah. And I'd like to close this session with just going around the group and just saying one word about what we're grateful for, and one word of power that we wish to embody. And if we could do that and then close. And next session, Tracey, I would love for you to talk on the Stargate. Really excited to hear more about that, because there's so much. I see you. I see you, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Me too. I'm so grateful to you.
Okay, Agne, your gratitude and a word of power.
I'm grateful for the connection to others, to source, to energy, and a word of power that I would like to embody. Teleportation comes to my consciousness straight away. That would be fun. That would be so much fun.
Oh, thank you. David.
My gratitude is for the evolution and experience of life and all of us. And my power would be to be unlimited by inversion, unlimited by the duality, and to be an embodiment of truth.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Gina.
I'd say I am grateful for just being alive, and my power word would be goddess.
Beautiful. Thank you. Anna.
I'm grateful for today and how it unfolded and all the different experiences I had today, some of which I planned, some of which I didn't. How I committed to having a day that was focused on love in various aspects. And so I'm grateful to today. And so my power word is just love.
My gratitude is for embodiment, and it's also love in the form of surrender. Thank you. Tracey.
Peace and it's creator. I mean, the duality is because we're not prioritizing really what love is and the love of creator. It's everything. But what form that creator is both male and female.
Gorgeous. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you all being here. Appreciate it. Just this moment. Thank you. There's so much to learn, so much to unfold, and I look forward to it. Always love you.
Huge hugs.
Yes, big love, huge hugs, world embrace, and just love to the planet and the whole of creation. Thank you. And see you soon. Yeah. Always
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You too. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.